Sup guys, I'm METALHEAD. I'm doing 150 classic albums by the end of the year. I'm also doing Patreon requests. This is weirdly one of the only Pink Floyd albums that weren't requested. I have Pink Floyd every single month, ever since Animals, because I really enjoy them. They're my family's favorite band, like my mum, and just like the extended family, like all my cousins. I went around my mum's wedding like a few years ago and asked them, like, what's your favorite album? Because I wanted to delve into it, because that's how I started this channel, was I listened to maybe 10 albums across my entire life, and then I delved into this channel by wanting to listen to the classic albums for the first time, like Black Sabbath, Nirvana, Pink Floyd, that sort of thing. All the stuff that, like, my family and friends always loved, but I just stuck to my own, like, 10 albums that I've always heard it back, front to back, like Bring Me the Horizon and all that sort of stuff. And they all said different Pink Floyds. There was an Atom Heart's Mother mentioned, there was an Amagama, Metal, but the most commons were Dark Side of the Moon and Animals. I don't think anyone mentioned Wish You Were Here. But this one is the most critically acclaimed album, and I knew this one was about grief in some sort of way, but I don't usually do this because I like blind reactions. I looked up the Wikipedia page about it, and I was shocked to find that initially the album this is about, Sid Barrett, he was alive when there was. My understanding was always this was about the grief of a bandmate member, and then I continued reading, and I've never read a Wikipedia page that made me feel so emotional. Like, Wikipedia pages are so that they're encyclopedic in nature, so it doesn't really come across that emotional. But I was reading along with what's happened, like the little anecdotes and stuff like that, and yeah, I know. I thought to, as I just finished reading it, and I just thought to instantly start the reaction with this one, because yeah, that it struck me reading that. I have pretty bad memory, even short-term memory and stuff like that, so I will still have a pretty blind reaction. But all, yeah, what I remember is the emotions of the recollection of, like, Sid when he was like 29, and then like when he's like 50, and like how he didn't. I know how he left Ben, how he didn't want to, like, he was like reclusive, all that sort of stuff, and the anecdotes of like how he was on tours and stuff like that. I didn't know anything about it. I had no clue. I didn't know that he left the band in like 1969 or something like that. um I thought this was about a bandmate that died like after Dark Side of the Moon or something like that. But I'm really glad that I did read that. Usually I go incredibly blind into it, but that was just like, I guess, a part calling me that this is about grief, so I should maybe read up a tiny bit on it. And I'm glad that I did. But yeah, I have loved Pink Floyd's album so far, and I do apologize to anyone that's a returning listener, because Pink Floyd fans have been the ones that have been the most, I guess, like, disappointed with some of my reactions, because I am very talkative, as you can probably tell, and I was like pausing at not the best times and stuff like that, and I was talking a bit too much. I still plan to like give my thoughts, but I'll try and be more tactful, and make sure that I'm pausing at like the best times I can think of, and especially considering the subject matter, because if just reading the Wikipedia page can move me the amount that it did, I would be shocked if that emotion wasn't amplified by people who are fans of the band. But yeah, I guess to talk a bit more broadly, I find this one interesting because it didn't get mentioned at my mum's wedding by family and stuff like that. But on every music rating website, which that's one of the ones I use, album of the year, it's the highest rated Pink Floyd one. I don't know if it's always been considered like Pink Floyd's best. I always thought Dark Side of the Moon was, mainly because I saw that album cover forever, like all the time. But yeah, I don't know with Pink Floyd fans if this one's considered the best, or if that's just like critic opinion or something like that. But considering like the subject matter, I wouldn't be surprised if it's considered the best. But yeah, with all that yap out of the way, I am ready to start. I've always loved that cinematic feel. Kind of reminds me of like World War II memorial sort of stuff. I love the tone of that. It really sets the tone to have it feel so much like a memorial. I'm sorry to pause it, but I find it so kind of magical because I haven't listened to a lot of prog stuff. What I spoke about before, it's like true. I've listened to like 10 albums, and it was like Linkin Park, From Horizon. Like I was born 2001, so mostly I like 2000s and 2010s metal. So I don't have like a lot of familiarity when it comes to instrumentals like progressive rock and let's say like even like jazz, improvisational sort of spots, like pieces, passages and stuff. And one of the things that starting this channel was has like shown me is I always thought that I wouldn't like longer tracks. But then I found out that I just can't, like, most of the time when there is like a longer track that's like 13 minutes, 10 minutes, 9 minutes, the artist is put, and especially on classic albums, like artists are putting all of their heart and soul into that, and it is so impressive to me because of the way that it's able to like convey emotion and everything like that without the vocals, because I feel like that for me, I've only basically ever heard music with vocals, and the human aspect of the voice and that sort of thing and how expressive it is, I feel like was like, in my eyes, the way that I tapped in emotionally to it. But Pink Floyd in particular, I feel like just so good, like with expressing emotions without the need for voice. The only other artist I can think of that does the same it to the same level is like Godspeed You Black Emperor, which is like post rock, which is just messy progressive rock, and it's just so impressive. And I, for whatever reason, listening to this reminded me of one of the quotes that I did see from the Sid Barrett Wikipedia page, and it was something, I think it was like this track in particular, he heard, and he said it sounded old, which I found so, I guess, like a bit interesting, because whenever I listen to Pink Floyd, it feels so incredibly timeless to me. Um, like when I think of music from around this time, a lot of it can feel like it's aged in the 70s, but this feels like it has no age to it. And that's one of the, I think, benefits that like Pink Floyd does have, is like Animals, Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here at this point. All of it feels so devoid of like the context and like time, like music of the time. That also could be the fact that I haven't listened to like Yes and Rush and all the other progressive rock guys, but um as someone that is like listening to Pink Floyd for the first time, they feel like they have just such a beautiful and perfect knack for sounding timeless with their production. Like this sounds incredibly like modern and cinematic, which is, yeah, just amazing. I'm sorry. I'll. It's annoying. I'll go back so I have all that. Guitar work is gorgeous. I love how deep the drums and the
Remember when you
guitars
were
are.
young? You shone like the sun. Shine on, you crazy diamond. Now there's a look in your eyes, like black holes in the sky. Shine on, you crazy diamond. You were caught in the crossfire of childhood stardom, blown on the steel breeze. Come on, you target for faraway laughter. Come on, you stranger, you legend, you martyr, and shine. You reached for the secret too soon. You cried for the moon. Shine on, you crazy
I love that record so much.
threatened by shadows at night and exposed in the light. Shine on, you crazy diamond. Well, you wore out your welcome with random precision, rolled on the steel breeze. Come on, you raver, you seer of visions. Come on, you painter, you piper, you presser, and shine.
Ooh. I really love the vocals. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love how, yeah, I just love those drums and how cavernous they sound. This is one of the, I guess, like, most interesting listens I've done, because I'll divulge some like personal stuff. When I was listening to this, I don't think when I was reading the Sid Barrett Wikipedia, I was thinking of like a personal experience that I had. But listening to this, I was thinking about it constantly. I uh, I guess like to give some deep, I don't know, backstory. I grew up in a like rural place. I went my primary school was like grade 1 to 7, and it had 40 kids in the entire school. So we had like grade 3 to 7 all in one class, and we would all grow up together. The people in my grade were like there was like 7 8 kids. I think we actually had the most populated grade. And one of the I grew up in that environment, and one of the weird things that happened was like you're friends with all of them because grade 1 to 4, like if you there's 6 other people, you're going to be friends with them, right? And then grade like 5 6 4, that sort of thing, for whatever reason, they started bullying. It was like every single year they would pick there was like 3 or 4 kids, and they would pick one for that year that they would just torment, I guess. um I didn't necessarily pick up on it because like from the previous years, I never joined in or anything like that. I don't even think I noticed it happening until it happened to me, and then I saw what they were doing to the other kids, like the other like 2 or 3 kids, and because of that, it was a weird situation because I had that for the first 7 years, and then when I got to grade 8, which is high school for Australians, I it's high school. It's your first year of high school. You don't like you're getting to know each other. It's awkward, that sort of thing. And then in grade 9, what my best friend for a very long time, Shady, came to the school, and we instantly joined to the hip. We every single day. It was just us two. Like we were floaters. There was like multiple different. There was like the kids playing Yu-Gi-Oh nerdy stuff. There's the kids that were drug addicts, I guess. There were the popular kids. There were so many different groups of kids across the school because I moved to a school that had like maybe 800 kids. So the grade had like 80, 90. And we seemed relatively well liked. We were floaters. We'd bounce between any group, or whoever he like we were talking to, like talking to at the time, or like felt more friendly with. Would go to the library, hang out with the kids there, all that. We'd float together, and we were just like stuck, paired, bonded together. Um, and yeah, I love the dude to death. And in grade 10, I moved to a different school. I moved to a private school, a better school, because I was going to one of the worst schools in my state. And then, um, yeah, yeah, we'll move to one of the, and we were still close. But by once we graduated, we kind of didn't see each other as much. We saw each other maybe like, he dropped out of school in grade 10, but I ended up graduating at a different school. I would see him every like few months because we'd have a party that we'd make sure we would like see each other, all that sort of thing. And we'd still text all the time. But once I graduated, I was going to university. We maybe saw each other like once a year, and this is around the time that he would uh I still consider him my best friend. Like I would talk to him every single day, and it was around the time that like he became more isolated. He didn't socialize much, and he was getting more into different drugs and stuff like that, and kind of just like abusing them a lot. And I guess like I saw it's it's a lot better now because I have seen him recently, and he's, I would say, back to like 60% of himself or like 70% of himself. But there was a point in time where like for a few years, um I if I didn't know how to interact with him. Um like he was still my best friend, but he was so erratic. I don't necessarily think he had the same sort of thing with like black eyes that they were talking about in this track, but there was like, I don't know, erratic behavior, the a lack of self-awareness. An example of this is I spoke to them recently, and they spoke about how they got like chased down and like beat because in their head they had no ill will. And this is them in like a more like not as loose of a state or whatever. And they were going into people's gardens picking like their flowers and stuff like that, and then tried to be friendly to them, and then like they the people in like that house or whatever um didn't take kindly for this like stranger to come in and then like be, I guess, creepy, I obviously, and then chase after him and stuff like that. And um I guess like that's to show like the erratic nature. There was like a it just socially became very didn't understand social conventions, and when they used to always be like very snappy socially, like just didn't feel present or there. And I guess I'm going to relate it back to this track, but like listening to this song, it feels weird because I guess had a similar experience, but not the same sort of one. Especially reading a bit about the Sid Barrett, it seems like that was even more um intense. But listening to it, I don't know how to evaluate the track because like it sounds amazing. Um, and I feel like I'm projecting too much onto it because when I'm listening to this, there's so many things with the instrumental pieces for the first like 8 minutes. There's so many parts that emotionally feels like it can somewhat tap into the feelings that I had with my friend, compared to like them. But it wasn't a perfect match. And then once the vocals came in, it felt like that dissipated because like like their story is being told more. When I feel like on the instrumental tracks, it just sits you with your interpretation of it. Um, or that's how I felt like my interpretation of it with my friend, and it wasn't a perfect alignment. Um, but that feels like an issue with me. And but I loved like the instrumentation is really amazing, and I feel like this is one of the like albums that I'll have to do a lot of re-listens for because I do have not the same experience, but like one that feels like it's in the ballpark that I'm clearly was thinking about. Um, yeah, it's really beautiful, like really beautiful and cinematic. If you haven't watched one of my videos before, I do ratings on the side. This is my first listen ratings. I listen to these projects multiple times over before I post them to my Discord, where you can chat to me about my ratings. There's a classic music channel in there with people that are older and all that stuff. I try and make the Discord as comfortable as possible for everyone to chat into because I want people to have a place to be able to talk to about their favorite music and everything. And I also post the album of the year, which is the music rating website that I use. Um, I have listened to about 1,400 albums in the past 18 months, and I have an average rating of a 6 out of 10. I still think that's because of my Patreon, because over on my Patreon you can subscribe. It's $5 a month to start out, and then depending on what tier you want, you can request an album and the length of the album, that sort of thing. I have The Wall requested, so I'm going to have that, but I don't have any more Pink Floyd after that. Um, but yeah, I think the reason that I have a 6 out of 10 is because I have about 350 people subbed on Patreon, that can all request an album, and it means I'm only going to be listening to classic albums like Michael Jackson or Stevie Wonder and stuff like that. So I don't listen to as much bad music, which is why I think I have a 6 out of 10 average. But spiritually, I think I have a 5 out of 10. If something's a 5.1, I think it's above average. But with that being said, like, I feel like I'm not doing. Rating this will be very weird, because I do rate every single track, and I try to be, I don't know, open to it, but I feel like I am getting clouded by the slight mismatch of my experience with it and theirs, but that doesn't feel like it's on me, and I still think that feels like it's on me and not on the music, and it's still very, very good. I love, as soon as the vocals came in, if I think quelled me a bit. Um, but at the moment, I think I would give it a great, like an 8 out of 10. But this is one of the albums where I feel like if I give the like re-listens, it's the one that could change the most out of the last like 500 albums I've done. So don't take the lower rating as any sort of disrespect of it. It's just personal. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I'm curious to go into the next one. Sorry for all of that dump and yap, but I don't know. I try to be as honest as possible in the reactions and stuff, and feels like that's too big of a thing to not have it explained that it's like impacting my listen. I really liked like the. I also sorry to pause again. But, Shiny Crazy Diamond. I think I really like the attitude that I feel like is encompassed by it being made in the 70s or something like that. Like there's like a lovingness to like you're like this person that's acting erratically that you really care about. Calling them a crazy diamond, well, I feel like in modern like my generation that would be considered dismissive, but I guess I grew up in a very like mocky, jokey family, and have seen where that like the mocking has a love behind it, and I feel like being like you should shine on like this shining a crazy diamond like I can't shine on being like you're allowed to you go do what you have to do. We don't have to like there's an incompatibility there where it's like you go shine on by yourself because I know that I'm not like perfect for that like your situation to be in your life and that sort of thing. Like there's a mismatch there, and then like a bit of like you crazy diamond. Like I don't know, I really like the attitude behind the title. Yeah.
Welcome, my son. Welcome to the machine. Where have you been? It's alright, we know where you've been. You've been in the pipeline, filling your time. Provided with toys and scouting for boys. You bought a guitar to punish your mom. You didn't like school, and you know you're nobody's fool. So welcome to the
I'll pause it here. I'm sorry to pause in the middle of so I think it's really pretty. I find this one so interesting because out of the albums that I've listened to, this one feels like it's the one that has like the most traditional song like instrumentation. Where with animals you had this like electronic lasery sort of aspect, and then you had Dark Side of the Moon that was using like time and clocks and stuff like that. Where this one it feels very nice and intentional to strip back it and have a lot more of your traditional sort of instrumentation on it. Um, and I also like the I really like when this track and the last track at the end, them bringing in their sort of experience more, so I can latch onto that and not think about mine as much. But because I don't know it feels like the emotion comes through a bit more, and then also I like that Pink Floyd every single time they go broader, like they go to how the system is fucking everyone up, and thinks about like the political situations and stuff like that. It's something that like I think modern music doesn't do as much. I listened to like 300 albums last year, and basically no one mentioned anything to do with anything happening in the world. It's one of the things I really appreciate about like older music where I listen like Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, and it's talking about the Vietnam War. When you're talking about Pink Floyd here, I think it is very brave and principled to have this first track, Shining You Crazy Diamond, about your friend that lost himself, and then go, the system allowed this to happen. Like, he's a victim of the system, and let me call out that system, which they are also the one living under. So it's like the potential of their livelihoods that they're putting on the line for it, and I think that's very commendable. Yeah, I it's really, really, really cool. That's such a piercing, abrasive electronic sound.
Welcome, my son. Welcome to the machine. What did you dream? It's alright, we told you what to dream. You dreamed of a big star. You played a mean guitar. All his angels stayed by. Loved to drive in his Jaguar. So welcome to the machine.
I love how personal the record is, and open with how personal it is. I think it's another great track. I might like it more than Shine on You Crazy Diamond. It's very confronting, these electronic passages. They feel more abrasive than even like noise rock stuff I was thinking. And like metalcore and stuff. Yeah. I think it's like an 8.5 at least. I think it's kind of amazing. I love this use of sound effects. I'm sorry to pause it here. But I still would love to know how they do it, because one of the things with like On the Run of Dark Side of the Moon was like the pitter pattering of like the footsteps, when it's like wish you were here, like with this, like the opening, the closing the car door and everything like that. Like technology is different now, where I don't know if you could see it, I don't want to break it, but like I just have this microphone. If I really wanted to, I could just put that next to a car and record it. I d- but like technology was a whole lot more analog. Um, and less compact and everything. So like doing those sort of sound effects, I just am very curious how they were able to do it, especially because Pink Floyd are like generational, even to like they do some of the best directional sound work and sound effect work and cinematic sort of stuff. Even if you put it up against all the music today, when they have ease of access to all that sort of thing, and it's just really, really impressive to me. Like this, how do you make it sound so clear? It makes it mix so well. The lack of humanity with the industry, like the welfare of the artists and stuff, don't matter. I like the use of silence. I like the. I'm sorry to again and pause it again, but like I really like that there's like a motif that I find from like this and Animals. I know Animals came after this, but the electronic sort of stuff, I feel like is used more in tandem when it comes to Welcome to the Machine, Have a Cigar, Dogs. These tracks that are about like the system itself and the corporate corporatization and like the corrupting nature of it and the inhuman aspect of it. Like they, I don't know if they how much like electronic music necessarily existed. I don't think it didn't exist at this point, but like that sort of sounds to make it sound a bit electronic. I don't know how much like who was the first to do it or anything like that. Like I don't know. Maybe probably Velvet Underground, Nico, because it seems most people come from there. I haven't listened to the album yet, but um, yeah, I really like that. That seems to be a motif. Like we had the first track where it's talking just about the human aspect of Sid Barrett and everything, and you had horns. You had what I assume is like saxophone, trumpet. I'm really bad with instruments, guitars, all that very traditional sort of instruments. And then when we come to like Welcome to the Machine, Have a Cigar here, it is a lot more electronic based, or sounds electronic based and futuristic and dystopic and basically just everything that's a bit more cold, sterile, inhuman, corporate. And I think it's like a really good motif that they seem to have through these two records, Animals and this one.
Come in here, dear boy, have a cigar. You're gonna go far. You're
The
gonna
predatory nature of the
fly.
machine.
You're never gonna die. You're gonna make it if you try. They're gonna love you. Well, I've always had a deep respect, and I mean that most sincere. The band is just fantastic, that is really what I think. Oh, by the way, which one's pink? And did we tell you the name of the game, boy? We call it riding the gravy train.
Oh, that's probably my favorite track. very predatory nature.
And did we tell you the name of the game, boy? We call it riding the gravy train.
I think it's a perfect track. I love this. I love the solo. I love the euphemism for having this go. Selling this predatory, destructive force to people. Ooh. That was so jolting. I like how they play with volume.
And discipline remains massively.
Yes, and neither would you, Derek, this star nonsense. No, it is it.
I'm sure of it.
Oh, I love the tone of that guitar.
So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail, a smile from a veil? Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change? Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead
probably my favorite Pink Floyd track. It's crazy how I think it's always been a thing with me. I guess like growing up, I didn't feel super comfortable crying and stuff like that. So at least in teenage stuff. So I always found like art was the way I guess I could, I know it's able to tap into that and gives you the place for it. I think it's probably one of the only reasons that I feel like I'm a bit more of like an emotionally grounded person is I know like growing up like as a guy and stuff like that, you're not allowed to show emotion, but if you're in your room by yourself, watching sad movies and shit like that, you can. But I really, yeah, no, I really appreciate the what music, art, and everything can give to me with me being able to express emotion more and stuff. That one hit perfectly. I think as the first track like kind of had a mismatch for me. That one felt like it was able to really hit the core of the thing. But yeah, I'm not going to ramble too much about it. Very powerful track and probably my favorite Pink Floyd track. Oh, I love the guitar. I never listened to the first track because I love this. the greater context a little better.
Nobody knows where you are, how near or how far. Shine on, you crazy darling. Pile on many more layers, and I'll be joining you there. Shine on, you crazy darling, and we'll bask in the shadow of yesterday's triumph, sail on the steel breeze. Come on, you boy child, the winner and loser. Come on, you miner for truth and delusion, and shine.
I love this record so much. I think I have to give Cigar like a 9 because I think this is perfect. Obviously, it could change in the next 6 months, but I don't doubt it will. It's so gorgeous. I love the tone of all the instruments. It feels so perfect. It feels so much more accepting. It's like a melding of like the electronic sort of stuff and the more traditional instrumentation. And like not like optimistic or pessimistic sense, just like a purely acceptance. Despite the album actually not being that short, because like 45 minutes is like, I feel like the middle of the ground right length, this feels like such a quick album. This has felt like 20 minutes. But we've been on a journey. It's so stunning. I could listen to this track 24/7. It's so beautiful. What a stunning track. Truly a timeless record. I don't know how Pink Floyd was able to make so many just all-time great albums. Like, not just like all-time classics, but like perfect art pieces. Back to back to back to back. It's so strange because like emotionally, I'm not a prog rock lover. I'm open to it, obviously. And allow, but like, despite not being a massive, well, I haven't checked out Rush and Yes and something. I could be a prog lover. I don't know, but it doesn't strike me as like the thing that instantly taps me. It's like soul was something I found on this channel. That I'm a soul fan. I love soul. When I listen like certain metal stuff like punkier music, ooh, I love it. Punk mixed with metal, ooh, that's my shit. New metal, that sort of thing. Prog doesn't have that attachment to me. I love these albums. I love Pink Floyd, and it feels so interesting because I feel like now after this, like Pink Floyd might have like the best ratings out of any rock band for me, like from the stuff I've listened to. Because I've listened to 3 albums now, and they're all basically tens. Like this is gonna get close to it, if not hit it on re-listen, depending on how the first track goes. Um, and that's so interesting to me because I'm not a massive like prog does isn't a thing that I don't know. I don't identify as a prog like lover. Like that's not when I think of like the best my favorite genres. Prog doesn't come to mind. Maybe if I delve more into it, it will. But like the other stuff does. Like Deftones, I feel like Pink Floyd has close to um like the best three Pink Floyd albums, which is the three I've listened to, might be on the like make a better average rating than the best three Deftones albums, and I fucking love Deftones. Same thing when it comes to maybe even System of a Down, and I love System of a Down. It's just so like Pink Floyd are just so generational, like just so classic, timeless, amazing that it transcends me not even feeling connected to the genre. Like they are just perfect musicians. Um, yeah, I've only cried at like 5 albums out of the 1,400 I've done, so they're doing something right. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry if I wasn't as like talkative. I am a massive yapper. And I saw that I saw the comments on the last 2 ones, and I want to make sure there's like a blend because I don't want to not be myself, but I didn't I people didn't enjoy when I paused and when I spoke and stuff like that, and I want to make sure that I speak my mind, but I also want you guys to experience the music because like I I know Science Channel, listening to classic artists, that sort of thing. The one thing I do love the fact is that all of these are first time reactions. I love music. I just was very strict with like 10 artists I listened to, and I listen to them so much. And I like music and art is like a massive thing for me. And it feels like I'm in a unique position where I haven't heard any of these songs before because I just didn't hear them. Even though my family loves Pink Floyd, never heard them. Um, and I want you guys to be able to have that experience of like, enjoying it as well. So I want to like work towards like a format that works here because my format seems to work with like a lot of other artists, but Pink Floyd has 12-minute songs, which makes it so a lot harder to figure out when to talk, and stuff like that. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. The wall has been requested, so don't have to worry about that. But if you want me to listen to like metal or Great Piper, or any other Pink Floyd, I just need someone to request it on Patreon. That's how I get my albums because I can't listen to anything else. I have it's July of 2026. It's actually coming out real quick. Usually my Patreon has early access by like a year plus. Like Joy Division Unknown Pleasures has been on there for like a year and a half. But yeah, it's July and I have had about 600 plus album requests this year. I've done about 400 of them. I try and work as hard as possible, and then keep open with the music, like not just like fob it off, because I think every single album someone gives me, if they're requesting it and paying for me to like listen to it, like that means that it's an album that they treasure, and I don't, if it would feel disrespectful if I didn't put the time and effort into trying to like actually have that experience with them, if that makes sense. So despite the fact that I think I upload more reactions and record more reactions than any other reactor, I try my best to make sure that they still have at least a quality to them, of me at least. Like you can, when you listen to me, I hope you can tell that I'm trying, like I'm connecting with it. But yeah, if you want me to listen to other Pink Floyd, I would love to. So yeah, all of the stuff over the Patreon if you want to support further. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. More Pink Floyd every single month. So subscribe if you want to see that. The wall will be the next one next month. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Absolutely love you. Peace.